The divorce papers sit on my kitchen counter next to a half-eaten bowl of cereal, cornflakes floating in warm milk, like my life, soggy, swollen, and ruined. It's been 4 months since Nathan found out about my affair, and every day feels like drowning in slow motion. I keep fixating on that stupid article I read years ago about how 40% of marriages experience infidelity. Back then, sitting in our sunny breakfast nook in our colonial home in Richmond, I remember thinking those women were weak, foolish. How hard is it to just not cheat on your husband? Turns out pretty hard when you're convinced you're different from everyone else. I met Nathan when we were both 25 at a mutual friend's barbecue. He was the guy grilling burgers, making sure everyone had a drink, remembering people's names. I was immediately drawn to his stability, his kindness, the way he looked at me like I was the only person in the backyard. We dated for 3 years, got married at 28, bought our dream house at 30. By 32, we had Lily. By 35, we had Ethan. By 38, I had convinced myself I was dying of boredom. The thing about Nathan is that he's exactly who he appears to be. No hidden depths, no dark secrets, no surprises. He wakes up at 6:30 every morning, kisses my forehead, makes coffee in the same blue mug. He works as an accountant at the same firm he's been at for 15 years. He coaches Ethan's Little League team and never misses one of Lily's dance recitals. Friday nights, we order Thai food from the same place. Saturdays are for yard work. Sundays are for meal prep. I used to love the predictability. After growing up with an alcoholic father who might come home singing or swinging, Nathan's consistency felt like a warm blanket. But somewhere around year 10 of our marriage, that warm blanket started to feel less like comfort and more like a straitjacket. "You're so lucky," my friend Jessica would say over wine. She was on husband number 2 and boyfriend number who knows what. Nathan is like a unicorn, a man who actually does dishes without being asked. I'd nod and smile, but inside I was screaming. Yes, Nathan did dishes. He also wore the same 5 polo shirts in rotation, told the same stories at parties, and thought a wild Friday night was trying a new flavor of Ben and Jerry's. The boundaries didn't blur all at once. It started at work, because of course it did. I'm a marketing director at a tech startup downtown, one of those places with exposed brick and kombucha on tap. Last January, they hired a new creative director named Ryan. 34, divorced, motorcycle in the parking lot, stories about backpacking through Thailand. Everything Nathan wasn't. At first, it was just work stuff, brainstorming sessions that ran late, inside jokes about difficult clients, coffee runs where we'd complain about our boss, normal colleague things. But then the texts started. "This presentation is killing me. Thank God I have you to suffer with. That client meeting was brutal. Drinks after work to decompress? You're the only one here who gets my vision." I told myself it was networking, building important professional relationships. When he started texting me on weekends, I rationalized that too. Creative people don't follow 9-to-5 schedules. When the texts got flirty, I pretended not to notice. When I started deleting them before coming home, I told myself I was just protecting my marriage from unnecessary drama. My sister Lauren tried to warn me. We were at our mom's house for Sunday dinner in March, and I was checking my phone every 5 minutes. "Who's got you smiling at your screen like a teenager?" she asked. "Just a work thing," I said. She looked at me hard. "Rebecca, I've seen that look before. Whatever you're thinking about doing, don't." "I'm not thinking about doing anything," I lied. "Nathan's a good man." "I know that." "Do you?" "Because good men don't grow on trees. Trust me, I've been single for 6 years. It's a jungle out there." I brushed her off. Lauren didn't understand. She didn't wake up every morning knowing exactly what the next 50 years would look like. She didn't have a husband who thought romance was remembering to put the toilet seat down. She didn't feel like she was slowly disappearing into the suburban wallpaper. The first time Ryan and I crossed the line was at a conference in April. The company sent us to Atlanta for a 3-day digital marketing summit. Nathan drove me to the airport, reminded me to text when I landed, kissed me goodbye with the same lips that had kissed me goodbye 1,000 times before. "Have fun," he said, "but not too much fun." It was a joke. Nathan trusted me completely. Why wouldn't he? I'd never given him a reason not to. The conference was at one of those hotels that tries too hard. Marble everywhere, orchids in the lobby, bartenders who call you by name after one drink. Ryan and I sat through presentations on social media metrics and conversion rates, stealing glances like high schoolers. By the second night, we were having dinner, just the two of us. "I shouldn't be here," I said over my second glass of wine. "Why not? We're just two colleagues having dinner." "You know that's not what this is." He leaned forward. "What is it then?" I should have left, should have gone up to my room, called Nathan, reminded myself of everything I had to lose. Instead, I leaned forward too. "I don't know, something I can't seem to stop." We talked until midnight that night. Ryan told me about his divorce, how his wife never understood his ambition, his need for more. I found myself sharing things I'd never told anyone. How sometimes I sat in my car in the driveway for 10 minutes before going inside, preparing myself for another evening of the same conversations, the same routines, the same life stretching endlessly ahead. "You deserve to feel alive," Ryan said, covering my hand with his. My wedding ring caught the candlelight. I didn't pull my hand away. The kiss happened in the elevator. His hands tangled in my hair, my back against the mirrored wall, every rational thought evaporating. When the doors opened on his floor, I followed him without hesitation. In his room, I turned off my phone. 2 texts from Nathan glowed on the screen. "Hope the conference is going well," and "Kids are in bed. Lily lost a tooth. Love you." I shoved the phone in my purse, shoved my purse in the corner, shoved every thought of home into a dark place where it couldn't touch me. "Are you sure?" Ryan asked, but he was already unbuttoning my blouse. "Yes," I lied. I wasn't sure of anything except that I wanted to feel something other than the crushing predictability of my life. Afterwards, lying in his hotel bed, I waited for the guilt to hit. Instead, I felt electric, alive, like I'd been sleepwalking for years and finally woken up. Ryan traced patterns on my shoulder, telling me how beautiful I was, how he'd wanted this since the day we met, how his ex-wife had never made him feel this way. I stayed until 3 a.m, then crept back to my room like a criminal. In the shower, I scrubbed my skin raw, but I couldn't wash away the smell of his cologne, or the memory of his hands, or the terrible, wonderful feeling that I'd just changed everything. The next morning at breakfast, Nathan called. I let it go to voicemail, sitting across from Ryan, our knees touching under the table. "Morning, beautiful," Nathan's message said. "Lily wants to know if you'll bring her something from Atlanta." "Miss you. Can't wait to have you home." Ryan must have seen something in my face because he reached over and closed my phone. "Don't do that to yourself. You're allowed to be happy." "I have 2 kids," I said, "who have a father who loves them. This isn't about them, this is about you." It was exactly what I wanted to hear. What I needed to hear to justify what I was about to do, which was spend the next 3 months systematically destroying everything Nathan and I had built. The lies started immediately. That night I called Nathan from my room, Ryan's taste still in my mouth. "How's the conference?" Nathan asked. "Boring. Lots of PowerPoints. You know how these things are." "At least you're getting a break from us," he laughed. "House is chaos without you." "I'll be home tomorrow night." "Can't wait." "I love you, Beck." "Love you too," I said, staring at the ceiling, wondering if lies could actually choke you. Back in Richmond, the affair took on a life of its own. Lunch meetings that weren't about lunch, working late on projects that didn't exist, team-building events I invented out of thin air. I became an expert at deception, creating elaborate cover stories with just enough truth to make them believable. Marketing department is really pushing these after-hours networking things, I told Nathan one Thursday night. I know it's annoying, but it's good for my career. Of course, he said, bouncing Ethan on his knee. We'll do breakfast for dinner. Kids love when you're not here to make us eat vegetables. He winked at me. Nathan, who'd never told a lie in his life, believed every word. The sex with Ryan was everything sex with Nathan wasn't. Urgent, reckless, selfish. We met at his apartment during lunch breaks, in hotel rooms he'd booked for the afternoon, once in his car in the parking garage like teenagers. Each time was a bigger risk, a bigger thrill, a bigger betrayal. I can't keep doing this, I'd say after. Then stop, he'd challenge, knowing I wouldn't. I couldn't. I was addicted to the danger, the secrecy, the version of myself I became with him. With Ryan, I wasn't somebody's mother or somebody's wife. I was just Rebecca, desired and dangerous and completely out of control. The close calls started piling up. Once, Jessica saw my car at Ryan's apartment complex when I was supposedly at a dentist appointment. I told her I was looking at apartments for my cousin. Another time, Lily's teacher called Nathan when I forgot to pick her up from early dismissal. I'd been with Ryan, phone on silent, lost in our own world while my daughter waited on the school steps. Where were you? Nathan asked that night, more confused than suspicious. Client emergency. I'm so sorry, it won't happen again. But it did happen again. And again. Each lie easier than the last. Each betrayal pushing the boundaries a little further. I became someone I didn't recognize. Buying lingerie with cash so it wouldn't show up on credit card statements. Telling Nathan I had to work late when I was at Ryan's apartment. Weaving stories out of nothing. The worst part? I got good at it. Scary good. The lingerie shopping was particularly pathetic. I'd drive 30 minutes to a mall where no one knew me, paying in cash like a drug dealer. $68 for a red lace set, $92 for black silk. Numbers I remember because I had to steal the cash from my own grocery budget, telling Nathan food prices had gone up. $200 at Kroger? He'd asked once, looking at our bank statement. Inflation's crazy, I'd said. Plus, Lily's class party is coming up. He'd just nodded and gone back to helping Ethan with his homework. Nathan, who balanced our checkbook to the penny, who'd never questioned a single expense in 12 years of marriage, trusted me completely. Ryan loved the lingerie. Loved that I'd bought it just for him. Loved taking it off me in the middle of the day when we both should have been working. My ex never wore anything like this, he'd say. I'd feel special, chosen, better than the woman who'd had him before me. It wasn't until later that I realized I was just the next woman he'd compare unfavorably to someone else. The worst betrayal happened on Nathan's birthday. June 15th. I'd promised him I'd leave work early, that I'd pick up his favorite chocolate cake from the bakery downtown. His parents were coming over. My mom had driven in from Charlotte. It was supposed to be special. At 2 o'clock, Ryan texted, "Need you." Now, my place. I can't. Nathan's birthday. Just an hour. Tell them traffic was bad. I went. Of course I went. And an hour turned into 2, then 3. By the time I got to the bakery, they were closed. I bought a sad grocery store cake instead, vanilla with artificial roses, nothing like what Nathan deserved. I rushed home to find everyone already there. Nathan had ordered pizza, apologizing to our parents for the casual dinner. "Where's Mom?" Lily asked when I walked in. "I'm right here, baby." Sorry, work was crazy. Nathan looked at me with such understanding, such patience. It's okay. We know how demanding your job is. His mother hugged me. You work too hard, dear. Nathan's so understanding about it. I excused myself to put candles on the store-bought cake, crying in the pantry where no one could see me. When I came out, Nathan wrapped his arms around me. Hey, it's fine, it's just a birthday. I wanted it to be perfect for you. Having you here is perfect, he said, kissing my forehead. I sang happy birthday with his cologne, not Ryan's, filling my lungs, wondering how I'd become this person. This liar, this cheat, this woman destroying a good man who'd never done anything but love me. The next week, I tried to end it with Ryan. We were in his bed on a Wednesday afternoon, my phone buzzing with texts from Nathan about Ethan's soccer practice. "I can't do this anymore," I said. Ryan laughed, actually laughed. "You say that every week?" "I mean it this time. Nathan's a good man. My kids. Your kids are fine. Nathan's fine. Everyone's fine. Stop overthinking." "I'm destroying my family." He pulled me closer. "You're being dramatic." "People have affairs all the time. Half the married people I know are cheating." "That doesn't make it right." "Right? Wrong? Who decides that? You're just two people who found each other at the wrong time. That's life." His philosophy was so simple, so selfish, so exactly what I needed to hear to continue justifying the unjustifiable. I started making mistakes, calling Ryan by his name when I was talking to Nathan, wearing a necklace Ryan gave me to Lily's dance recital, coming home with my shirt buttoned wrong after a client lunch. "You okay?" Nathan asked one night. "You seem distracted lately." We were folding laundry together, our weekly ritual. His shirt's on the left, mine on the right, kids' clothes in the middle. The same way we'd been doing it for years. "Just work stress," I said. "Maybe you should look for something less demanding. We don't need the money that badly." "I love my job," I said too quickly. "I know, I just hate seeing you so stressed. The kids miss you." "They said that?" "Not in words." "But Lily's been acting out at school. Ethan's been clingy. I think they just need more time with their mom." Each word from him was a knife, but I was the one who twisted it deeper. "They have you." "That's enough." Nathan stopped folding. "Beck, I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. I'm just worried about you, about us." "There's nothing to worry about." The biggest lie yet. "You seem happy lately," Nathan said one night in June. We were loading the dishwasher after dinner, kids already in bed. "Work must be going well." "Yeah, it's been great. Really fulfilling." He smiled and kissed my temple. "I'm glad." "You deserve to be happy." The guilt should have ended it right there. But guilt is a funny thing. After a while, you get used to carrying it around. You tell yourself everyone does things they're not proud of. You remind yourself that you're a good mother, a good employee, a good friend. One bad thing doesn't make you a bad person, right? Wrong. The truth came out the way truth always does, stupidly and all at once. I'd told Nathan I was going to Jessica's birthday dinner on a Friday night in July. What I didn't know was that Nathan had called Jessica's husband to plan a surprise cake delivery. When Jessica's husband said they were in Napa for her birthday weekend, Nathan got confused, then suspicious. Then he did something he'd never done in 12 years of marriage. He looked at my phone location. I was at Ryan's apartment when Nathan started calling. First my phone, then Ryan's landline, then my phone again. I knew before I answered. There's a quality to the ring when your life is about to explode. "Where are you?" His voice was calm, too calm. I told you. Jessica's dinner." "Jessica's in Napa." Silence. "I'm coming home," I said. "Don't." "I'll come to you. Where are you, Rebecca?" I gave him Ryan's address. What else could I do? 20 minutes later, Nathan stood in Ryan's doorway looking like a stranger. Not angry, which would have been easier. Just empty. 12 years, he said. 12 years and this is how it ends? Ryan tried to disappear into his kitchen. I wanted to disappear into the floor. "Nathan, let me explain." "Explain what?" "How you've been lying to me. How you've been coming home to our children with another man's smell on you. How you've made me into a fool. It's not like that." "Then what's it like, Rebecca?" "Please, enlighten me." But there was nothing to say. Because it was exactly like that. Nathan left without another word. When I got home an hour later, he'd already packed a bag and gone to his brother's house. The kids were asleep, unaware that their world had just cracked down the middle. The next weeks were a blur of conversations that went nowhere. Nathan sleeping in the guest room when he came back for the kids. Lawyers, mediators, Lily asking why Daddy was so sad. Ethan wetting the bed for the first time in 2 years. "I want to work through this," I begged during one of our mediation sessions. "People get past affairs all the time. We can do counseling." "No," Nathan's lawyer voice, the one I'd never heard directed at me. "I can't look at you without seeing you with him. I can't trust anything you say. Did you think about the kids when you were with him? Did you think about me at all?" "Of course I did." "Then how could you do it?" I didn't have an answer that would matter. Ryan, for his part, ended things the minute it got complicated. Turns out, dating a married woman is only fun when it's secret. Once there were lawyers involved and crying children and actual consequences, he remembered he wasn't looking for anything serious. He transferred to the Los Angeles office within a month. Didn't even say goodbye. So here I am, 4 months later, sitting in the house I'm about to lose. Nathan filed for divorce immediately. He's been more than fair. I get Tuesday and Thursday nights with the kids every other weekend. He didn't ask for alimony even though he could have. He just wanted out. Clean break, no drama. "I won't badmouth you to the kids," he said during our last conversation. "But I won't lie for you either. When they're old enough to ask, I'll tell them the truth. The truth. That their mother threw away their family for 3 months of excitement. That I destroyed a good man who never did anything but love me. That I became exactly the kind of woman I used to judge. Nathan's dating already. I know because Lily mentioned Daddy's friend Emma, who came to her soccer game. Emma's a pediatric nurse because of course she is. Probably kind and stable and would never dream of cheating. Everything I used to be. I see them sometimes during the quick, silent handoffs when I pick up the kids, Nathan and Emma. He looks at her the way he used to look at me, back when I was the only person in the room to him, before I decided his steady love wasn't enough. She makes him laugh, real laughter, not the polite chuckles he'd been giving me the last few years. They look good together, happy. "I like Emma," Lily told me last week. "She braids my hair better than you do." 8 years old, and already she knows how to twist the knife. My apartment is 40 minutes from the house, the only thing I could afford after the divorce settlement. 2 bedrooms, view of the parking lot, neighbors who fight at 3 a.m. The kids hate it here. They tolerate their nights with me, counting down until they can go back to their real home, their real life, their father who didn't blow everything up for nothing. "Was it worth it?" Lauren asked me last week. We were having coffee, though she barely looks at me anymore. "What do you think?" "I think you had everything and threw it away for some guy who probably used the same lines on you that he used on his ex-wife." She wasn't wrong. I found out later that Ryan had cheated on his first wife, too. "Pattern of behavior," his ex told me when she somehow found my number. "He likes the chase, not the catch. I could have saved you some trouble if you'd asked." But I hadn't asked. I'd been too busy feeling special, feeling chosen, feeling alive. Now I feel nothing but the weight of what I've lost. The house sold last month. Nathan used his share to buy a smaller place closer to his brother. Still has room for the kids, of course. I drove by once, even though my lawyer told me not to. There were flowers in the window boxes, bikes in the driveway, Emma's car parked where mine used to be. I understand now why Nathan can't forgive me. It wasn't just the cheating. It was the planning, the lying, the choosing. Every text I sent Ryan was a choice. Every lie I told was a choice. Every time I came home and kissed my children with lips that had been on another man, that was a choice too. "Do you miss Daddy?" Ethan asked me last week. He's 6, still young enough to ask the questions that matter. "Every day, baby." "Then why did you make him go away?" I told him something about grown-up problems and how sometimes people grow apart. But the truth is simpler and uglier. I made Nathan go away because I was selfish and stupid, and thought I deserved more than a good man who loved me exactly as I was. Jessica doesn't talk to me anymore. Most of our friend group sided with Nathan, and honestly, I don't blame them. Would I want to be friends with someone who could do what I did? Who could look at a faithful husband and 2 beautiful children and decide it wasn't enough? Ryan texted me once, about 2 months after everything exploded. "Hey, hope you're doing okay." Crazy how things turned out, right? Crazy. Like it was some natural disaster that just happened to us instead of something we chose every step of the way. I didn't respond. What would be the point? "Hey, yeah, super crazy how I destroyed my family for you, and then you vanished like smoke. Want to grab coffee and ruin some more lives?" The worst part is the mornings. I wake up at 6:30 out of habit, reach for Nathan out of habit, remember out of habit that he's gone. He's probably waking up next to Emma now. She probably appreciates his consistency, his reliability, all the things I got bored with. She probably doesn't need excitement or drama or men who ride motorcycles and tell stories about Thailand. I'm 39 now, starting over with bad credit, shared custody, and the kind of reputation that follows you in a city like Richmond. I'm the cautionary tale mothers whisper about at school pickup. "Did you hear about Rebecca? Left her perfect husband for some guy at work. Can you imagine?" They can't imagine. I couldn't imagine, until I did it. "You'll find someone new," my mother says, because mothers have to say things like that. But we both know the truth. Good men like Nathan don't come around twice. And even if they did, what would I have to offer? "Hey, I'm Rebecca. I'm almost 40. I betrayed the best man I ever knew, and I have trust issues because the last guy I threw everything away for ghosted me the minute things got real. Want to grab dinner?" The finalizing documents came today. In a few weeks, I won't be Rebecca Morris anymore. I'll go back to my maiden name, Rebecca Fuller. Like the last 12 years never happened. Except they did happen, and I have 2 kids and a studio apartment, and a host of regrets to prove it. Nathan won't even look at me at drop-offs anymore. Just texts. "Kids ready? Running 5 minutes late. Lily needs her dance shoes." Business transactions where there used to be love. I want to tell him I'm sorry. Not the manipulative sorry that hopes for forgiveness, but the real sorry. The sorry that knows it's too late. The sorry that understands I killed something that can't be resurrected. But Nathan doesn't want my sorries. He wants what I can't give him. The last 4 months back. Our life back. His ability to trust back. "Why don't you love Daddy anymore?" Lily asked last month. "I do love Daddy," I said, which might be the only true thing I've said in months. "Then why did you hurt him?" Another question I can't answer. Because I was bored? Because I thought I deserved passion? Because I confused stability with stagnation and love with settling? Because I'm selfish and broken and too stupid to recognize a good thing until I'd thrown it away? All of the above. The apartment is quiet tonight. Kids are with Nathan. Emma's probably there too, making dinner in my kitchen, helping with homework at my table, tucking them into beds I used to tuck them into. Living the life I'd discarded like old clothes that didn't fit right anymore. Except they did fit. I just convinced myself I deserved designer when I already had exactly what I needed. My phone buzzes. For a stupid second, my heart jumps, thinking it might be Nathan. Maybe he's had a change of heart. Maybe he misses me like I miss him. Maybe Dash. It's the property management company. Rent's due. Right. This is my life now. Rent instead of mortgage. Silence instead of laughter. Memories instead of marriage. All because I thought the grass was greener on the other side. Turns out it was artificial turf. And now I'm standing on concrete, looking back at the garden I burned down, wondering how I ever thought plastic could replace real growing things. Nathan was right to leave. Right to protect himself and the kids from someone who could betray them so easily. Right to find someone who values what he offers, instead of constantly searching for something more. I pour another glass of wine and stare at the divorce papers. Tomorrow I'll sign them. Tomorrow Nathan will be free of me officially, legally, finally. Tomorrow he can move forward with Emma and the life he deserves. And me? I'll be exactly where I put myself. Alone with my choices, my consequences, my complete and total understanding that I am the architect of my own destruction. 40% of marriages experience infidelity, but 100% of those unfaithful spouses have to live with what they've done. Some statistics you don't read about until you're living them. I close my eyes and try to remember what Ryan's kiss felt like. What was so spectacular that it was worth all this? I can't remember. All I can think about is Nathan's blue mug, still sitting in the kitchen cupboard of the house where I used to live, in the life I used to have, with the family I used to deserve. The cereal bowl still sits there, cornflakes now completely dissolved. I should clean it up. Should do a lot of things. Instead, I sign my name on the papers. Rebecca Fuller. Like Nathan and our marriage and our beautiful, boring, perfect life never existed at all. Except it did. And I destroyed it. And unlike the 40% statistic I'm now part of, that's something I can never, ever fix.